Hello everybody, and Mr. Stewart's Lessons is back, and we're back with a brand new website at mrstewartslessons.com. I already had a website at mrstewartslessons.com, but it was super ugly, and now this one looks, I think, pretty sweet. And it dynamically generates its lessons from YouTube, so it's going to automatically add all of the new lessons that I put up there. So you can very easily go there if you want to learn SketchUp or Scratch as well. It's there. Also, you might find this useful. I have what we call useful classes here. These were already here, but now they're easier to find. These are classes which allow you to, which are easily downloadable and allow you to do things like move with the mouse or fire a projectile or move with obstacles in the game. I have very clear instructions on here about how to download them and how to use them in the game, both in the documentation of the class and in Mr. Stewart's lessons. So if you go to Mr. Stewart's lessons and check it out, it'll tell you very clearly how to use that. Today, what I'm doing is I'm creating a game in which I have an actor that is animated and is locked vertically. That means that when you go left, your actor doesn't flip upside down. And just to show you what I don't want, that is often you'll know what I'm talking about, right? You notice when I move this character to the left, he flips upside down, which is annoying. We don't want that to happen, right? And so we're going to make it so that my character doesn't do that. So let me tell you first of all what I have set up here. I just have there's no code in this yet. All I have is this is my world. I have a world called Sandstone, and I have a character who's a ninja, and this is his image. Now, with the thing I've also already done, and which you're going to need to do before you go any further, is I've acquired a few different images of this guy moving. And this is animation. This is the name of the program, and in there, as you probably know, there's an images folder which has several images, and you see there's 3 different images here. And if I look at each one, right, this is the first one, this is the second one, and this is the third one. So this shows him moving, running as he moves. So you're going to want to find somewhere on the internet or somewhere, you're going to need to find at least two or more images which can simulate the character running or moving. And I've called these they're all PNG images. The PNG is nice because it's got a transparent background. When you look for these things, you should try and look for things with a transparent background. Let me just show you what that would look like. In here, I've got a number of different, you can look, I've just searched for animated sprites in Google. That's all I did. I went into Google and put in animated sprites, and you can see a whole bunch of them. This is, if you notice some of them, you see how, if you look, see how it's got the checkered background here, right? What's nice about the checkered background is that it's a transparent PNG, which means you don't have to get rid of the transparent background. And you can just take this, you can download this image and then use preview or anything to crop it and chop it up into separate little images. So that's what I have before I start programming to set it up, okay? So what we're going to do first, right, is we're just going to make the guy, well, first of all, so what we're going to do first, we're just going to make the guy move, okay? And instead, we're not going to use the move command. We're going to use the set location command. The set location command is a different way to move that does not that just changes where the image is, but doesn't point it in any particular direction. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to say if Greenfoot is key down, you've seen this one before, up. So this means if I'm pressing the up key, make sure to remember you've got 2 parentheses. then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what's called set location. This just means I could put the get character any place on the board. I could just set location. If I look in here, it's expecting an X and a Y coordinate. So I could, if I wanted to, I could just be like 200, 300, right? But that's not what we want, because we want to move him. If we're pressing the up key, I want to set him just 10 pixels up from wherever he is right now, right? So when I'm pressing the up key, all right, I want him to go like that. I want him to just be straight up from wherever he was. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, set location. First of all, his X is going to stay the same, right? If you remember, the X is the left and right direction. So the get X is just going to get whoever his X is now and keep it the same as what it was. And then I'm going to say get Y plus, minus 10. And I'll do an open and close curly brackets, even though I don't actually need them here. And get Y minus 10. So, and what that means is whatever his Y position is, make it 10 less than what it was before. So now, because I'm lazy and I don't want to have to keep typing, I'm just going to copy this. And I'm going to copy the whole thing, and I'll change this to down. So this is if they press the down key, well, then that means we want the Y to increase. We want to go get Y plus 10, right? So now what happens is, if I compile this, if I press the up, right, it's going to go up. That's going to increase his Y position by 10. If I press down, it's going to decrease his Y position by 10, right? And that's, right, so now what we're going to do, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to copy this again and paste it, right? Now in this case, we're going to, if we press the left arrow, right, the Y position now is going to stay the same, and the X position is going to decrease by 10, because with the X, is the way the X goes, right, when X goes down, when I go to the left, X goes down. When I go to the right, X goes up. So I'm going to want to decrease the X by 10, subtract 10 from the X, and last of all, I'm going to say if Greenfoot is keyed down right, then we're going to increase the X by 10. I'm going to run it. Now all that's going to happen is my guy's going to move up, down, left, and right. And I forgot how this should say right. Made another mistake. So now he moves up, down, left, and right. Simple enough. Okay. So now what we want to do is we want to animate the guy. So what the thing is going to want to do is it's going to need to know, first of all, we need to know what its image is, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type private Greenfoot image, my image equals get image. What this does is it gets whatever my image is right now. It creates a new Greenfoot. It assigns it to a variable which is of a Greenfoot image type called my image. Private just means that it's only available to this to this class. Nobody else is going to be able to use it. There's actually absolutely no reason you have to put private in there for day-to-day purposes, but it's a good programming practice. But if you left out the private, it would work just fine. Now, what it's going to need to know is what the other, what all of the different images that I'm going to have. And so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy and paste this from where I have it somewhere else, so I don't make any typos. So what I've done here, the private, as I said before, you could leave this out. This is just good programming practice. It means that the other classes can't get at it. You notice I have string, and then after the string, I have open and close square brackets. This means we're creating an array. We're creating a string variable that can hold more than one thing, because we're going to have several different names. And then I have the array variable is called image names. And you notice that here I've got an open and closed curly brackets, which play a different role. They're not like the open and closed curly brackets down here. These are just defining images in an array. And so I've got player run1.png, player run2.png, and player run3.png. And that is the name of the 3 files that I have created, created or downloaded or put in here, right? Now that's important. That you have to spell them right, and it's obviously case sensitive, so you're going to have to be very careful with that. All right, if you get if you do this wrong, you will get some kind of error about the image not available. Now what I'm going to do is private current image equals 0. So let me explain what that means. This is an array. It has 3 things in it. Okay, so this is so the first one, when you create an array in almost all kinds of programming, you don't start counting at 1. You start counting at 0. So what I've got here, this is image names 0. This is image names 1, and this is image names 2. Now, you could have as many or as few of these as you want. You could have 2, 3, 4, 5. It's still going to work all the same. But just remember, this is number 0, this is number 1, this is number 2. This is basically saying that right now we're on image number 0. Okay. And now the next thing I'm going to have is I need to know the X and Y position I'm going to need to keep track of my X and Y position, because I'm going to need to know when I'm going to want to point left. So this is my X position and the Y position of my, and this is going to keep track of basically what my X position and Y position were on the previous turn, so I know whether I should point left. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a method called added to world. This is a method that already exists, the added to world is going to look like this. I'm just saving time in the lesson by copying and pasting from something else instead of typing. Also saving my reducing my odds of doing typos, as I've already done. So what we've done is I've done a method called public void added to world. Added to world is something that already exists in your actor. If you hit Control Space, you'll see that one of your choices, well, now it's highlighted, but even if I hadn't done this, added to world would already be in there. Added to world, just as run is something, act is something that happens every single turn. Added to world is something that happens when you first add your actor to the world. So that means when I take my actor, if I create a new actor, and do this and just click it down, when I click it down and put that actor down, the added to world is going to be in there. It's going to just happen automatically. Okay, and what this is going to do is it's going to say X position equals get X, Y position equals get Y. So when I add this thing to the world, it's going to assign, wherever I put it down, it's going to assign the X position to the get X to the X position and the get Y to the Y position. So these are the things I need to set up to make this to create this feature that's going to animate my image. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a method called animate. So I'm going to call this private void animate on move. And that's just good. So this is basically saying when I move, animate me when I move. Okay. Void, because it's not going to return anything. Private, because I'm only going to use it in here. And you could have called this public, and it would work just as well. Okay. So I'm gonna do open curly brackets here and a close curly brackets. Whenever I create a new method, I always put in the open and close curly brackets right away to avoid screwing things up, to avoid forgetting one at the end. Okay, and then I'm going to put in an if statement, and the if statement is this: if get X exclamation point equal to X pause these things and get y exclamation point equal to y pos. Let me explain what that each of these things means. So get x is wherever my x is right now. X position is we assigned up here, and we're going to assign it again. It's wherever I was last turn. So basically it's saying, because we really only want to animate my character if he's actually moving. So basically if my X position is different from where I was last turn, or my Y position is different from where I was last turn. So what this really means is we're saying here if the character, this is just seeing if the character moved this turn, it's going to run, okay? And I'm going to do an open curly bracket and a closed curly bracket. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say current image plus plus. The current image, right, is the image that we're on. Remember I said we started on current image 0, and 0 is this one. So now we want to go, so we were on this one, which is current image 0. And we want to go to this one, which is going to be current image 1. You see his feet are in a different place. That's going to make him look like he's running. So, so we're going to go to, so this is going to go from current image 0 to current image 1, and from current image 1 to current image 2. However, obviously we only have a few of them, so we have to go back around if we're going to, if we have more than, if we get past. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, I'm going to put in this line here. If current image greater than or equal to image names dot length. And so what that's saying is, and basically image names dot length is how long this array is. You can see this array has a length of 3, right? 1, 2, 3. Okay, and so if we greater than or equal to basically means if we get to 3, in this case, what we want to do is we're going to go, if we get to 3, then what we want to do is current image equals 0. So that just means that when we get to 3, go back to 0, right? So, and I could have just done greater than or equal to 3 because there's 3 of them, but I did it this way because that way if I go up here and decide to add another image, then I don't have to go back and change this later on. This is going to automatically go back to 0 whenever I get past however many images I have in this thing. So this is going to say reset to 0 if you get past, then if you get past the number of images, okay? And you might be wondering, if you're saying, hey, where's your curly brackets after your if statement? But in this case, because I'm only doing one thing in my if statement, I don't actually need the curly brackets. I could put the curly brackets in. It wouldn't make any difference. So now what I'm going to say is, this just copying and pasting here to avoid mistakes. Greenfoot image equals new Greenfoot image, image names, current image. So that's a lot, right? So what we're going to do is we're creating a new image, right? And this is just creating a new Greenfoot image. We're making a new image every time, right? We're creating a new image every time. And the image, right, when I say new Greenfoot image, this is looking for a string variable that is telling me what the name of the file is. So this in here, image names, current image is the name of the file, right? Current image is the number of the image we're on, right? So we might be on 1, 0, 1, or 2. So this is the number. And image names is our array that has the string variables in it, right? So it's going to go to this one. First it's going to create a new image of this, then it's going to create a new image of this, then it's going to create a new image of this, and then it's going to go back and create a new image of this one again, right? So this is creating a new image, okay? And then I'm going to say if get x is less than xpos. So what that means, right? Get x is where we are right now. And remember, xpos is where I was last turn, right? That's because if get x is less than xpos, right? So say if xpos was here and now I'm here, right? That means I move to the left. If I move to the left, I'm going to want to point my guy to the left, right? So I'm going to want to point my image to the left. All my images right now are pointing to the right. And this is really the clever part here that points my image left if I turn left, but keeps me from flipping upside down when I turn left, which is what normally happens and which is kind of annoying. And if you've got an image that's standing up straight up and down like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say this new image dot mirror horizontally. So new image is the new image that we just created. Mirror horizontally means makes it turn to the left. So it just flips the image to the left when I'm turning, right? And once again, you notice I don't need any curly brackets because I only did one thing, so I don't need any curly brackets there. And now I'm going to say set image new image. So now it's take this image, whatever I just got here, and puts it on my character. And then I'm going to say my image equals get image. And then the last thing I need to do, of course, my x position and y position, my x pos and y pos variable should be wherever I was last turn. So I'm going to reset those two variables. I'm going to say x pos equals get x and y pos equals get y. So this is just going to reset my two variables to whatever I was last turn. Now I'm going to compile this. No syntax errors. That's good. And now we'll run it. And oops, didn't compile it. And oh, and I forgot one thing. I created the animate on move method, right? So now it works. Now I actually have to, whenever you create a method, you actually have to call the method in the act method so it actually works, and I forgot to do that. So here's my animate on move. So I'm just going to put that at the end of my act method. And that's my animate. So now that actually is part, so that animate on move actually is part of my act method. It's called every turn. And I'll compile it again. And there's my guy. He runs. He stays standing up. And he doesn't, when I turn left, he doesn't flip upside down. And that is one way to make a character that stays vertical at all times and is animates when he runs. And if you go to Mr. Stewart's lessons, very soon I'm going to create a demo lesson to start with, and a demo lesson which is just going to have all of the files in it if you don't want to have to go through and create your own. And I will create a finished version of the lesson there as well, so you can see what it looks like when it's done, so you have something to compare to. And I will see you again real soon at Mr. Stewart's Lessons.